summer morning kind of takes on a rhythm of animals, taking care of the animals, and then out there to the front yard garden to water. And then I get to play a little bit and then go inside during the heat of the day and work inside. Our excitement for this morning was a broody hen, another one. It is way too hot to be sitting on the nest box for 21 days in the heat of June and July in 100-degree temperatures. Yeah, I just don't think a hen could survive that. So, broody jail is opening. Let me show you. We have our first hen in broody jail, and she is not happy about it. This is one part of raising chickens that I didn't really know I would need, is a broody jail. Some place where you can keep your chicken out of the elements. I've kind of got mine under the eaves here, and I put a little top on it. If it's gonna rain, it hasn't rained here in a long time, and there's no really chance of rain in the forecast in the next week, so I don't have to worry about that. But if it's gonna rain, I'll put a board on top and probably up against it so it won't splash on her. So, but it's just for a few days. But yeah, definitely need a place where you can take your broody hens and have them break their brood, so to speak. Because when they're broody, they're not laying, and they're on that nest box, and everybody wants to be laying in that nest box that they're on. All my egg laying divas get really cranky, and yeah, it just doesn't work. All right, so get yourself a broody jail if you want a big herd of chickens. Big flock of chickens, I should say. Some things we're doing in the front yard garden is, one, just enjoying the beauty. Enjoying the harvest. Look at the tomato harvest, you guys, this morning. I cannot say enough about Tasmanian chocolate container tomato. I will definitely have it in my garden every year. The plants are almost done. I will pull them up, and I've got new ones rooting, so we'll try for a batch in the fall. I'll let you guys know how it goes. And we're also fighting a war against my nemesis, the squash vine borer. After I water, I come out and spray BT, which is a bacteria. It's considered organic, and when the squash vine borer lays its eggs, when it comes out, hatches out and bores into the plant to eat, it also eats some of this BT. And it dies before it can do any damage. So that's the idea. But it has to be applied every time you water, after you water, and after rain. So yikes, that's a lot for a gardener to keep up with. Well, I don't have to worry about the rain part. It's never gonna rain again. Feels like that. Desi squash, another staple in my garden. Squash vine borers don't seem to like it, and squash bugs don't seem to like it. It'll be here every year. Heirloom squash, so I can save the seeds. And we are already thinking about fall tomatoes by cutting off healthy stems and rinsing all the spider mites off. I'll go inside and rinse them, and putting them in water to root for new plants in the fall. Tasmanian chocolate, you guys. It was a winner for sure. And it's an heirloom, so I can save the seeds. So psyched about that. Remember, you guys, that when it comes to tomatoes in Dallas, Texas, we're about to hit the hotter than hell period. And when those temperatures, nighttime temperatures, go over 75 degrees, your tomatoes will not set fruit. They might bloom, but those blooms will not set fruit. So it's a little bit tricky here. Up north, it cools off at night. Here, it just doesn't. It can stay in the 80s all night long. So tomatoes just are not gonna set fruit in that weather. So I'm sorry to break that news to you if you didn't know that. That's why we plant early and plan to protect them. But you've got a chance for the fall harvest. So if you've got some tomatoes that you can snip off some branches of and put into water and root, great. If you don't, no problem. Go to North Haven Gardens. They've got you covered. They always do tomatoes in the summertime, so that you can plant them in July for a fall harvest here in Dallas, Texas. Or you can start them by seed, but you'd have to hurry to get them up and going and ready for fruiting when the weather cools down. All right, I know, I hate to break it to you, that's tomatoes in Dallas. It's not the easiest crop to grow here. Look at my onion harvest, you guys. Look at all those onions. That's from 2 4x8 raised beds. So that should last us a good while. We have a fan on them. They're just drying and curing out. Getting ready to store. I just used an old cage. It's actually a rabbit cage that I turned upside down to put them on. Beautiful. As a rabbit breeder down south, it's just the reality that I had to cut down my flock every summer before the heat really comes in. It's hard to get rabbits through the summer heat, so I want to have a few rabbits as I can, just my breeders, no more babies. Yeah, so had to cull down my flock last weekend. Thank goodness my wild one came to help me. So if you want to hear more about that, if you want to hear more about how I not just raise the backyard rabbits, but how I harvest them and cook them to provide food for my family, then please leave me a comment, because here in Dallas, Texas, there are a lot of people that really champion the rights of animals. So I don't really share that much about that on my channel. You know, they want to champion the rights of animals even at the expense of hungry tummies for children. So it's just a disconnect there between people who eat meat and also want to keep and care for all animals, keep them alive till the end of their natural life. So I hear a lot about that here in Dallas, Texas. So if you have an interest in that and learning how to provide food for your family in that way, then leave me a comment so I know, okay, there's a want for that. The people are wondering, how do I do that? All the way to harvesting and providing for my family. And then I'll add it. All right, on to the next step. Make sure to wash off your tomato cuttings so that you don't leave any spider mites, because they will just continue to work over your cuttings and they will turn yellow and dry up and they won't root and be healthy new tomato plants for you for the fall. enjoying the harvest. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. It's that kind of day.